Oh, also, they slashed his budget in half and gave him 20 days to make this movie.
What?
And
That's
yes,
wild.
and he said, "Watch me do it in 3 days shorter." And so
What?
I'm just like, shout out to this man for real because he
Oh my
put in the work.
God. I love
yeah,
this movie. This might be like, this is going in the this might be going in the, like, truly not just being hyperbolic. This might be going in like my favorites of all time.
Welcome to the Fades of Black podcast. We're your hosts, Sunflower B. Rose, David D. Dunnington, David A.J. Dunnington, and Imani
Yes.
Johnson. Today we're talking about Melvin Van Peebles' 1970 film, Watermelon Man.
Yes, there's a Negro in your shower!
It is not a Negro. Matter, fella. Ain't you never seen an Aztec before?
What the hell you done to yourself, Jeff?
How do you like my golden glow, Andy? Just crazy. They think that at any moment a Negro's gonna hit them over the head with a watermelon and steal their high school. It's just a little nightmare about a great sunland. I'm going back to bed now. And I know that when I wake up again in the morning, my skin will be lovely and white.
Ba-da-ba.
You're
So first, homies, how would you describe this film? Period. Question mark.
my first word of my sentence is nigga, comma. And
Yes.
that's and then I would describe the rest of the film. First, well, you want me to describe the plot or just like
You
in a
know, how
bar.
would you
how you describing it?
how would you describe it in the bar? You know, we
you're
with the
right, you're
homies,
right,
How you
you're right.
describing it?
Let me. All right, so I'm gonna be like,
If
look,
you would like, David, you can give me the bar pitch, and Imani can give me the plot.
gotcha. All right, so listen, I'm gonna tell you something because I'm gonna tell you like how I felt like before I watched it. So just preface, I didn't look anything up about this, which I think is fine to do. I think it's fun to just come into
Me
something
too,
just
I
completely
agree.
fresh. Didn't look it up, didn't see a trailer. I think I just saw a poster and I said, oh boy.
Yes.
So I was scared. Your boy was scared. I thought Sonny was trying to bamboozle me. And so I thought it was going to be like, not Eddie Murphy's Nutty Professor, but like early Nutty Professor kind of vibes, but with like a guy doing blackface. And that was not what it was. So I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna like this. All right. So boom. All right, Sonny, can you play a role for me right quick?
You're
I want you to be like a hotep, and I have to describe this movie to a hotep.
okay.
And I need you to be like on the defense.
I'm gonna do my best.
All
Put
right.
Match
So
Your
look.
Goofy on.
So there's a movie that comes out right in 1970, 2 years after Martin Luther King died.
Oh, right.
They killed they killed my man's, and
Yeah.
and it's about a white man that turns into a black man. Are you that okay to you, Dr. Umar?
I mean, sounds like the Devil's Nightmare, but is it a horror film?
So it is a raunchy comedy, right? But the white guy is actually played by a black guy in whiteface.
Oh. I don't know how I feel about the black man stepping into a white man's skin for what?
Well,
Why?
he makes the white man look bad, and it's a black comedian who is actually, along with Maya Angelou and some other actor. I should look up his name. I'm so sorry. We'll do that. I'll say that later. We're one of the first people to organize a financial benefit for Martin Luther King.
I mean, that's good for the people, but also let's ask the question of like, what is the image that we're still putting out for the people? You know, like what's really happening?
Well, my brother, it turns out this white man is like the biggest asshole on earth, and the whole kind of like idea is that like white men get to be assholes even if other white men hate them, just get allowed to do that. And then when black men are just like in positions of power or like just acting regular, they are policed heavily. Obviously it's like absurdist. He just gets like swarmed by a bunch of people in a way that's like almost cartoonish, but like yeah, it's showing the struggle. That last shot, questionable. However, the but that's my bar pitch, because that's how I would talk to Sir whatever. Anyway, I feel like that was accurate.
Sir XYZ, thank you. And yeah, I mean, that sounds like a great pitch, especially for what this was. I would have all of those same questions, and I think this film is like still relevant today, because it easily, I feel like, could have happened. Like, this is another version of White Chicks. You know?
Oh, that's what I thought. I was like,
this is the OG White Chicks.
Yes.
Literally, there's no way they did not see this.
I mean, this is literally the first instance of whiteface on film. And it's interesting that you say that, because I'm like, they honestly wanted to cast the executives who were putting this film written by a white man on, hired a black man to direct it. They wanted him to have a white man in
Melvin
blackface.
Van Peebles.
And Melvin Van Peebles said, absolutely not. I'm going to do a black man and put him in whiteface. How y'all like that? And then the studio was like, there's no makeup artist who's going to do that. Like, nobody thinks this is possible. So he found a black makeup artist to do it and made the studio hire their first black makeup artist. And so then they did this. And that's why they showed off everything, because they're just like, this is a piece of work.
Wow.
But yeah, Imani, tell us what this movie actually is. Give us the synopsis.
You have this white man who is played by a black man in whiteface. His name is like Jerry or Gerald.
Jeff.
Jeff. Thank
Jeff
you.
Jeff Gerber.
Jeff Gerber. Oh my gosh. And so he's like this white man. He is married to this white woman who is the mother from Roseanne. If anybody watched Roseanne, she played Roseanne's mom.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I was looking at her and I was like, she would say certain things and I was like, where have I heard this? Roseanne.
She was also in Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, look at her. Shout out to that actress. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, girl.
Estelle Parsons.
And they have, thank you. And they have like 2 kids. And so they live like their normal like white family life, I guess. And the guy is an asshole and he's weird. He's like a weird asshole that no one really likes. He like races the bus every day to get to work. And it's kind of like, also it's like the bus doesn't want to pick him up. And yeah, like his wife like sits at home and she like watches the news all day long and she's like seeing all like these civil rights protests and like all these things happening to black people, and she's like kind of sympathetic towards it, but he's kind of like, I don't give a fuck, girl. And he also sunbathes. He's suntan, so he has like a suntan bed at his house and he like tans every day. And so one morning he wakes up black, like he wakes up as a black man, and he's like, damn, this damn suntan bed got me. And he has like this weird conversation with like the customer service, and he's like, I make my own mixture of soy sauce, like wild things, like not things you would put in a lotion. And they're like, that's why you dark. And he's like, no. And he's like going through all this. Like, he's trying to wash it off. He's trying to bleach it off. Like, his wife, like, at first, he, like, hid from his family because he was like, this is a dream. And if they see me, that's how I know it's going to be real. Because if they scream, it's real. But if they don't see me, they don't scream, then it's a dream. And so he's going through all this to like not see them. He's like in the steamy ass shower. His kids are like, Dad, like we trying to see you race the bus. Like, come on, get up. And he's like, no, like go get your mom. She comes in there, is like, oh my gosh, a black man, terrified. But like realizes it's her husband. And that's how like, yeah, he starts that quest of like, how do I get rid of this blackness? He doesn't like go outside at first because he's like, if I go outside, they gonna kill me. Like I'm not trying to be black. And then eventually he does go outside, goes to work, and he's like just treated differently. He's like chasing the bus and is like stopped by the police at one point, and they're like, some guy in the crowd is like, I think you stole something. And they're like, oh, so you stole something, huh? Like, you're just like making up crime. Dude is like, you're doing this because I'm black. And like the bus driver now, the black bus driver who was driving the bus away from him is now like, come on, brother, like, let me help you out. You know, because he understands the struggle. And yeah, this dude also drinks a health drink or whatever at the bar or restaurant. And at one point, the black man who works there is like, oh yeah, I like use soy sauce. And he's like, again, like, this is why I'm black. And eventually his neighbors are like in his face like, hey, yo, you like bringing the neighborhood down. We're gonna pay you to move out. And he's just like, fuck no. And they're like, we'll give you $50,000. Like, we got it from the bank. Like, we ready. Like, we gonna accept the loss. You know, like $50,000 for you to just leave. And he's like, no. And he eventually like talks them up to $100,000. So they're like, we'll give you $100,000 if you leave this house. And he's like, yeah. Meanwhile, his wife like then sent the kids to go stay with her sister, because she was like, I don't want them around this. But then she like also dips and is like, I'm not gonna be married to this black man. I didn't sign up for this interracial love story. So she dips. And then he like leaves this suburb community that he has been living in and moves to the city and just lives as a black man and buys a building. And yeah, the last scene is like him exercising in a weird cult like activity, and then the movie ends. And so he just has to accept his blackness. Like, I was really shocked that he did not become white again at the end. That's what I was waiting for. I thought he was going to wake up white, and he did not. He continued his life as a black man in this body. And that was the movie. It was not what I thought. It was less political than I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, it was trying to say something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's spot on. Thank you for filling that in. And like, let's talk about that ending, because when I tell you that that's not the original ending.
Oh, I know it felt thrown on.
The writer initially wanted it to be that he wakes up white again, and that would just be the story. And once again, Melvin Van Peebles was like, no. Hell nah, I'm not doing that. And the executives were like, why don't you film both endings? And so he said, sure, I'll film both endings. And then only shot his ending. And then when he went back to the execs and they were like, what happened to the other one? He was just like, oh no, I forgot to record the other ending. And so that's how this film came to be. But yeah, so I don't know, just to also think about how funny this film is to me, because it is a black man in whiteface who then just like wakes up to himself and is just like so shooketh and seems like so distraught that he is just existing as himself. I mean, it feels like, again, like relating this back to white chicks, it feels like this is the Terry Crews, you know, like this is the Uncle Ruckuses who truly think that they have been like reverse vitiligoed, and they're just like sitting here like drenching themselves in milk.
Yes, baby.
Oh my God.
Yes, just like trying to caking his face in mayonnaise. Like, please, God, bring me back to my beautiful white skin. I'm just like, to think about like that person who just has to accept themselves as a black person and just continue to live. But in your heart, you're like, I am a white man.
I'm a white man.
I know it. And other people know it too. I'm just like, wow. I feel the first of its kind, at least from what it sounds like doing the research. But also just shout out to Melvin Van Peebles, who for real was just like, if you're putting me on this assignment, fuck y'all. I'm going to do this the way that it should be done. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Could I say something?
Please.
the other thing I'm really shocked about with this film and really impressed by, because I kind of expect it to just be a straightforward comedy in terms of like its presentation, like it's just the actual filming. The filmmaking of this is so cool. Like it's very this term is used like a little too much, but like for its time, like very experimental type of editing, and like the title cards, like I'm sorry, like the Spike Lee had to have like kind of like taken some elements of like this, like the little like jump cuts like that, like the repetitive like cuts, and like the cut, like the filter switching, like you can tell it's just like a filter switching through the lens, but it was like, it was so interesting. Or even like at the beginning when they're like watching the news from the dinner table and like the camera's panning like left to right, like it felt kind of like Wes Anderson, like this film is so quirky and artsy and weird.
It is.
And it's still very funny because we have a comedian in the role, and like Godfrey Cambridge, who is a legend. He's genuinely funny in this. When he's the white guy, he's funny. He's like a piece of shit. Like, he's like so intolerable. Everybody hates him. And then when he's the black guy, he's still like kind of, he feels it like it didn't feel, obviously because he's this, putting on the same voice and stuff, but I feel like the performance was good in that, like, I still saw, he didn't feel like a different guy.
No.
He literally just felt like he turned black.
Yes. Yes.
Also, just the fact that the first time we see his black skin is his ass.
Yes.
Like, just a zoom in on his ass. Like, that is definitely, like, a joke on...
Fuck you, Melvin
Van
Peebles. Yeah.
This is a black ass man. Yes.
Especially since what you just told me about, like, the blackface and stuff, that was a joke he had on the studio. I need this man to have, like, serious flowers. I know, like, Melvin Van Peebles is also, like, mostly in acting in movies. I know he's, like, a director, like, a hardcore director, but, like, he's acted in a lot of stuff. He's in, like, plays Sweetback. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he also wrote and directed that as well.
Yes.
Oh, damn. I need to look at it. I'm not hip to Melvin Van Peebles, to be honest with you.
Questlove has a book, like, What Music is History, where he talks about Melvin Van Peebles is truly the originator of the movie soundtrack. Because like back then he couldn't get studios to really fund his movies, and so one of the ways he got around that was putting the soundtrack out first before the movie, having a few hits on it to gain this interest, and then releasing the movie and the people seeing this movie already being familiar with the music, and it really worked out for him because with Sweetback it was like some wild, like he had a secretary and his secretary was dating this dude who just so happened to be in Earth, Wind, and Fire. So they made this soundtrack before they were Earth, Wind, and Fire. And so by the time he dropped the soundtrack for this movie, they've blown up. So it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire did this soundtrack. And then like the movie comes out, it's a huge success. And after that, that's when studios started doing that for all of their movies. Like releasing the soundtrack first, like a week or two before the movie, and then doing the movie. That goes back to him. So it's like, I love the Black Panther soundtrack. So shout out to that.
Black people started everything, dog.
For real.
What the fuck?
And also, like, shout out to him being a Renaissance man because he also, like, made some of this music as well.
Yes.
Very Boots Riley-esque.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess Boots Riley is Melvin Van Peebles-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
And like his Sweetback's Badass song came after this movie. And it was like after Columbia Pictures tried to offer him like a 3-year picture contract. And he was like, no. I don't want to be trapped into whatever you're about to do and tell me that I have to do. So he made this instead.
Wow.
And then still... like had issues with it because he didn't want it to be rated, but that means that the rating industry had to give it an X because they're like, if it's unrated it's considered an X, and so then he would try to like put posters out that was just like rated X by an all-white jury.
I mean, they do have nudity in it, so I'd like, I mean, like, it is funny they said that, but
yes. But then it's just like now he can't get his foot in the door at all because it's just like
Yeah.
so many things. Like you just need it to be rated. It needs to have gone through the system, and he's just like, I refuse. Why? Why do I have to subject it? He's like, there's nobody in the space that looks like me that has anything to do with anything outside of that one specific culture. So
Yeah.
That nigga is hard. I fuck with him.
Real. For real.
yes. So I mean, let's talk about the film. Like I also had no idea what this was coming into it. Like I had just been watching Black Enough and was like taking notes of some films that I thought was interesting, and this sounded like Stick Fly, which is like a play I know about. So I was like, oh, a white man who wakes up black, like what is that? But yeah, what are your first impressions? How did you feel after watching it?
Yeah, like I said before, I thought this movie was gonna be more political, like outwardly. Just because of the movie poster is wild. It's like some watermelon and a white face and a black face. It's just like very much like oh my goodness. And so I did think this was going to be more like a Bamboozled, where it's like just outwardly in your face, like look at this. And yeah, it was instead just like a raunchy comedy that still, of course was saying something, but not in the way that I thought it was going to be. And yeah, it was funny. Like I laughed all the way through.
I'm like, what do you think it's trying to say?
White men can get away with whatever they want.
And
then as soon
white
as they're
people
black,
don't.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I was like, white people don't want to be black. Like, white people don't want to be black, and they know exactly why they don't want to be black. And this is the white man's nightmare.
But
I
even
like
like
it.
black people don't want to be black. Like that's that reference to like this when he's talking to the bus driver and he's like, I'm not black. And he goes like, yeah, I'm Spanish myself. Like, bro,
Yeah.
I like started busting out laughing. Like,
And he even tells someone that
people have been
else,
making
like-
that joke forever.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you were saying, Imani?
Oh, I was like, he even has that line with someone else. Like a little bit later after that, someone said something.
He's like,
to him,
I'm
and he's like,
Spanish.
Yeah, with the dude at the breakfast health bar.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, cool down, brother. Like, if you keep
Yeah.
acting up, like, they're going to kick us out. I also think it's so interesting that, like, I'm going to keep comparing this to, like, a modern day white chicks because I have a question about, like, I feel like there's a conversation happening about, like, white chicks couldn't happen today in the same way, like, The Office couldn't happen today. But could it happen today? Because this film still feels really, really relevant. So I'm just like curious at what point is whiteface inappropriate? Where is the line? Because I feel like if this black man goes back to being in the white body, like that feels weird to me because it's just like now we've just like used him as a true caricature to just like try on and then put back. And so I think like the choice to like have him just accept the life that he's been living forward makes more sense to me. But like today, if we were to like just reboot this Watermelon Man, the uppity film, would it still work? How would it work?
I feel like I really in terms of the question about like whiteface and like I'll say this. Whiteface is offensive, right? Like I'm not going to act like it's not. Like there's like a scale, there's a totem pole of offensiveness and like who is actually getting hurt, right? And on the grand scheme of things, whiteface is like not hurting anybody. It's not nobody. They're not changing voting district lines because of whiteface. You know what I mean? And it's like, so there's different levels to that. And with like, let's like, if you were, I see like whiteface similar to I see like how like when people say, if black people want white people stop saying the N-word, stop saying the N-word. Stop saying the N-word in songs. And my response to that is, even if black people all just unifiedly stop saying the N-word, white people would still be saying the N-word. It would require white people to stop saying the N-word, which they have not. So for us to stop characterizing them, it would require them to stop characterizing us, which they have not. So that's just my stance on that. I'm not saying it's quote unquote right. I'm just like, shit is not like, obviously we still don't accept blackface, but like, 30 Rock was doing ironic blackface, and like
Tropic Thunder.
Daniel Tosh has done ironic blackface. Like, I know that was like 10 years ago, but that was 10 years ago. Not 50, not 30, not 20. It was 10. And we still have, racism is like, because of like the anti-woke stuff, it's on tour. Like, being racist is being anti-woke now. So I just say like, shit is not at a place where we're like, yeah, let's just like leave them alone. You know what I mean? At least that's in my opinion. So anyway, I'm going to have an answer just for that. Sorry, guys.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not the same. It's like discrimination against white people is not equal to discrimination of black people. Just because like systemically, if you are white and you experience some form of discrimination because of your skin, that's not happening on a systemic level. Like, that's very personal and directed at you. Whereas it's like, systemically, they're passing laws against black people and making life harder for black people across the board. It's not individualized. And so it's like this white face in this movie. It's like, it's not moving the line of beauty standards in white people. It's not messing with little white girls and boys' heads. Like, oh my gosh, like, it's not causing this confusion. It's being used as a comedic tool because, like, we can't use blackface in that manner because, it's like blackface is really offensive, and it's offensive because of white people, like, because y'all made it offensive. And so, I'm like, it's like David said, it works both ways. Like, if you want to stop seeing one, you're going to have to stop doing the other. And, until that happens, like, we're going to get movies like this. But I think it could be made today. Like, I really do. I think it would still cause, like, people would still have something to say about it. But I do think it could be done today. And it just reminds me of, like, Get Out. Because, like, even though these people are not... like outwardly in whiteface, like that is the concept that like they're being inhabited by white bodies, right. And so I'm like, it was a great movie.
And I also say like, I'd say a lot of times in these like whiteface scenarios, they're never playing like poor white people a lot of the time. Like, no. I would have maybe like an issue if like these were like like me as like a nigga with an education would not want to be like making fun of poor white people, even if they don't like me. I know that's like not for everybody. I'm not saying anybody else has to do that. This is just me talking from my perspective. But I maybe be like weird on that. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be, it's whatever, because it is what it is. But like, I would be like, my point is that like most of the time we're making fun of rich, uppity white people.
Yes.
With power.
Yeah, it's always a punch up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not punching down.
I mean, because this movie would not have worked if he was in any other position. Like the fact that he's in a well-established neighborhood with such a quirk that everybody recognizes his face. They can tell who this man is, even as he's just like running through town. Like when he gets into his office, he's made such a name and a personality for himself that it's like, your skin is different, but like your spirit is still you. Like, we know who you are. We're going to vouch for you when you come into the space. Like that still holds its own privilege. And like, even for him to say like, as the words have just escaped me. But I'm thinking of the moment where his like boss is just like, no, I very much recognize you, Jeff. Like, it's clearly just a tan. And he's like, yes, thank God. Oh my gosh. You recognize that I am just a white man with a tan. Thank you so much. That is the nicest thing anybody has ever said. Yeah, I don't know.
I did find that part surprising. Like, I was surprised that like the white people in his life were like, yes, you are a white man in a black body. Like, I was like, oh, it didn't really take much for him to convince people that it was really him. They were like, oh, yes, we see it. It's you. And I'm like, oh,
well,
okay.
I think it's also like he put on the same, like his voice didn't change. He like had the same exact voice and cadence, so people heard it and they were like, "Oh, that's definitely him." And the thing is, it does look like because it's him in makeup, it does look like him as a black man.
Which is why I think there was even more people who were just like, "Oh, I didn't notice." Like they were just like, "Oh, I guess you were black this whole time." You know, like as the doctor said, he was like, "You know, your lips have always been a little full and your cheekbones a little high." So I mean. Sometimes people just get darker with age. But yeah, it didn't take no convincing. I also think my next question was just like, what do you think this speaks to white people's current fears about being black are? But it also makes me think about the way that the wife reacts throughout this film too. Like thinking about white people or very liberal folks who think that they're always down for the cause and can like really talk the talk, but then when you're confronted with it, like to your face, like, okay, now all of a sudden your family is black, you are surrounded by black people, you have to deal with black issues as people associate you with black. How you gonna react now? Like when you go from being an ally to an accomplice who's really gonna be down. But yeah, I don't know. That's my question.
Yeah, I thought I did think that was an interesting. That made the wife character interesting because we do from the top of the movie like see how she is supposed to be the more liberal one in this relationship, watching the news all day and like she cares about all these injustices happening in the world. And then it's like she gets a black husband and it's like, I didn't sign up for this interracial relationship. This is not what I want. And yeah, you know, it was, again, I just think speaking to like the fear of like being black, like even if you're not black, it's like the fear of being associated with that personally, and how that could affect your life. And how you navigate the world. But yeah, and she left to go live with her sister, and that was that.
Yeah, I was surprised by like, I mean, they blatantly say like, I'm liberal, but only to an extent. Like, they just blatantly said it. I think I was surprised by how nuanced a lot of, you know, we say it's like, you know, obviously like, it's not political in the sense that like, it's like blatantly like mentioning certain things, but I'd say it's like, it has strong racial politics for sure. Yeah. And like, it definitely is saying something about America. I mean, he literally, the song is like, this is America. Like, you're in America. Like, but very nuanced takes on race. Like, you know, like there's the whole lady at the office that's like, you know, they have like a weird thing. But okay, I'll just mention this. Movie's got some weird depictions of women. I'll just say that. It is what it is. Yeah. But I just cannot not mention that. But definitely kind of like fetishizes some of the white women a little bit, which I'm like, all right, Melvin, what are you doing? What are we doing here? I guess there's that black woman dancing, but it's just like weird objectification that's like, whatever, not good, not good at all. Stop it. Stop.
Yeah. It's like I feel like he was trying to talk about, I guess, both sides. Cause then there is like the sexualization just like of the black man. How now like in the beginning of the movie when he was white, it was like that secretary in his office like didn't care really about him, was uninterested. And then when he became black, she was all over him. Or like even there are moments like with his wife, like in moments she's looking at him like scared, like, oh my gosh, you're black. But then there are moments where it's like she is attracted to him, and that dynamic. Also then it's like he's later in a strip club where like there is a black dancer and he's just like watching, I don't know, he's just like watching her through the mirror. It was
it's there's like some like, I don't know, it's just some shit where like a nigga in the 60s is like, yeah, this is smart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he was even looking at her because, truthfully, I thought he was really just trying to find the rhythm and was like maybe like watching her to figure out where it was. I don't know. That's what I was focused on. To me, it just looked like Michael Scott as as Mike, whatever his name is, when he's just trying to be real hard. That's what it felt like to me.
But I also say, like, I do like that they said that, like, fetishization is bad. Like, he was like, you're a bigot.
Yes.
You're a bigot
Yeah.
for fetishizing my body. And that's like, I'd say for this, because I'll say this, I fully expected this dude to be like, ha, I got a big dick. We white women better. I was ready for that. I was ready to be like,
agree.
you know, I was like, oh, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't. And they didn't. He was like, I hate this. Don't do that. And thank God, because I'm be honest, some of these niggas now would make a movie where that's cool. So
That would be the joke.
it would be the joke, and they'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, also, we definitely still only like white women. Anyway.
It is so interesting, though, how aware he is of how bigoted he's been throughout this whole thing. Because it's like every time that he's met with an instance where he thinks somebody is like truly accepting him, and then he sees that in them, and he's like, damn, you got me again. And so it's just like, how active of a choice has this been for you to have been so complacent this whole time? You know, like even just like at the very beginning, the small instances of your wife just trying to engage you on like what is happening in the world, and you're so quick to be like, nah, let's just deflect and make it about the size of the TV. But but now the second she puts some like fried chicken and watermelon on your plate, then it's like, bitch, who, what? But it's like, you would have ate this any other day and made jokes about it.
I think you asked earlier, like white people like want like or fear of being black, and like in relation to this movie. I think in a weird way, like let's say they remade this movie and now, right? It wouldn't. There would be racism, but like the teenagers and the kids. If like let's say he was like 24, right? 24-year-old white kid, he'd be like, yes. Not like because of like, injustice. It's just like, what can I use this for?
Yeah.
And not in a way that like, I don't know. I'm trying not to come off as like, it's like a privilege to be black. It's just like they love stealing black shit, and they like.
I mean, think of like
being able to say
Chet
the N word and shit. Yes, the Chet Hanks. And if Chet Hanks went whole black, he'd be like, yeah, man. Like he'd be like.
I mean, what's his name? Little Dicky. He had like a song like about that with Chris Brown, like in 2014.
No, it was like
I was still
2018.
in
'Cause
high
I worked at a little elementary school, and them kids were singing that song. They were all singing, "I woke up in Chris Brown's body."
Yeah. And that song
like,
was so
oh, no.
weird because I'm like, this is this white man waking up in this black man's body. This is black man is Chris Brown. But I'm just like, what a weird. Yeah, it was just like all the weird things he was saying he could do because he was Chris Brown. And I was just like, this is a weird song. I don't like it.
I'm like, but maybe that is the modern day remake then. Is just like trying to navigate in this body and then really realizing, nah, bro, like you can't even run outside. Like Ahmaud Arbery is real, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have the privilege to just like exist. You can't wear your hoodie. You can't eat some Skittles. Like you can't make a phone call. You can't literally do any of the things that you think you're about to do. Rolling with the homies is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'd be scared to walk out the store without stuff.
Yeah.
I don't got items. I'm like,
Here's-
everybody's looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, because most of the time they are, which is really fucked up.
It's like that is a valid. It's like valid paranoia.
I'd be singing Jim Croce in the store out loud so they know. I'd be like, rolling me down the highway.
I just call them out when they say something. Like, oh, clearance is in the back. And I'm like, oh, because you think I can't afford it?
You calling me bro?
Damn,
We're
that's wild. Someone said that
walking
shit
to
me.
like a Roy Rogers, and it's like, we don't have a dollar menu here. Bitch, did I ask?
Oh.
Did that actually happen?
Yes.
Bro, I would have been, bro, never mind. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of that, let's talk about how, like, it's funny how, like, how offended when the stereotypes are brought to him, he is so offended. He is so
Yes.
upset. It makes him so mad.
Yeah.
He's like, how dare you judge me for the color of my skin? Like I've been doing to everybody my entire life.
How dare you?
He's like, can't you tell I am still the white man that I have been? And it's like, no, bro, your skin changed. That's
How it works.
yeah. You are no longer a white man, period. Which is wild.
I also say I do love that I halfway through the movie I was like, please. I literally said to the person watching next to me, I said, please don't turn him back to white. I know they're gonna do it. I said I know they're gonna do it, but I would love it if he stayed black. And they stayed fucking black. That was so awesome.
What do you think
I
would
was
happen if
fully
he did
expecting
though?
him to be white. If he became white?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think his life would have continued as it was before. Like I think he would have fallen right back into exactly how it was before. Like I don't think that he would have like experienced any real like character change for himself, just because it's like, well, if in the end you become white anyway, you're white again, so all these things that were happening to you aren't going to happen anymore. Where but it's like, no, now you're black and you're just gonna live your black ass life. I'm
like, do you really think his neighbors would like let him stay back in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Like, do you think everybody would just like
Yes.
Yes, if he
Yes,
became
as
white
soon as he
again,
was white.
absolutely. Because they were not like, we don't like your con. Like they were just like, it's business, dog. Like we love you. Like, you know, he was like, I'll have tell your wife to hook to connect with my secretary, you know, and we'll make sure she's taken care of. We can get your stuff in storage. Like it didn't feel like necessarily like hate fueled. It was just like, you know, the way property values work. You're bringing them down for all of us, and these are investments we all made. You have to understand you would be doing the same thing. And yeah, he just gets that money out of him. But if he became white, yes, he could. I think he could have.
I feel like there'd be a sneaking suspicion somewhere that it's just like, we all saw that man be black. We saw that as a black man, you know, like, I don't think
they know it's a white man.
But do they? Because
And they
I
all
feel
think
like
he's tan. And I'd say the other thing is like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Sonny. Sorry.
no, go for it.
So like, I feel like, I think Imani, like your ending, let's say Melvin Van Peebles did do the white ending, I think he would rewrite it so it was like what you just described. Because the easy ending is, the ABC Family ending is, he learns to not be racist anymore. But the smart Melvin Van Peebles ending would be, he's white and he's right back to normal. And he's probably even more racist.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been, if he didn't stay black, I feel like that would have sufficed to me. That would have like been like, yeah, that would have been smart. And this is absurdist comedy. We should also mention, like, it's like, it's realistic and like, you know, there's like boom sound effects and stuff.
Yes.
Flashing lights.
Yeah.
Yes. Face to the mirror. How now, brown cow?
I think this is the first thing.
So the lines in the movie are so funny when they're like, "Daddy, can we see you race the bus?" He was like, "Do not bring up the racial issue ever again."
Yes. I was like, was that the whole point of the racing? Was for this joke?
For this joke.
Absolutely.
Because for a while, it really was just like, what is the purpose of running? Where are we going with this?
I mean,
And
I
so-
think it's all like it. It's so intentional, like just having the word race, the fact that he just like runs really fast. Also, the fact that like it's all so intentional.
Yeah, I was like, this black man in his Adidas until he gets on the bus.
Bro,
and then
literally.
he just like switches to his regular shoes. But then they had to Cinderella him outside to be sure the shoes would fit.
Oh my God! When they drop him off at work, it's like, this man stole something. We don't know what it was yet.
Making stuff up.
I mean, right back to a murder in Harlem, where it's just like the tall Negro did it, and they're like, "Well, that's it. You going to jail, my guy."
Case closed.
Yeah.
Damn, the white word really be working.
Yeah, it's
Works.
still
Not even the
winning
white word,
here.
just the white writing on piece of paper.
Yes.
Yeah. the white person wrote it.
The anti-blackness.
Bro, it was no one even know if it's a white person wrote it. It was on a white piece of paper, and they just like, yep.
Truly.
It's on a white piece of paper accusing a black person. Like,
it could have been a black person who wrote it. It was a black person who wrote it.
Historically, yes.
But as long as it said the black man did it, that's all we needed to know.
That's all we needed. We have no questions. So yeah, 1970, from 1935 to 1970, it's still happening. This is still the theme in both of these movies.
It is. The Terry Crewses of the world still exist. The Uncle Ruckuses are still tropes.
Yeah, that's what I saw him as eventually. Just saw him as like a coon.
Yeah. They needed to play the coon song.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, that's all I really got on this film. Do you got any final thoughts?
Watch it. I'd say highly recommend this movie, like big time. I truly was like, so I'm not gonna lie to you, like I had a long day. I was like, I gotta watch this thing, and I was like ready for it. I'm like, I don't want to watch this, and I was like, I was in it. I woke up.
Because then you just start cackling and you're like, what is happening?
I'm like, what the hell is this movie?
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'll say, just also this season of Fade to Black watches has been the most intriguing, I'll say, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, more episodes, more black films. There's so much to dive into.
There's so much. We're never going to run out of this, dog.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. For anyone who may be apprehensive about watching it, just know that it's very aware of the white gaze. Like, I think that is important, especially for a movie like this. And so it is very aware that there are white eyes on it, and it is handled in a way that's not at the expense of black people. So check it out.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Godfrey Cambridge, because I feel like he's the so like they reference Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and I like that movie a lot. I love Sidney Poitier, but Sidney Poitier, because of the time, he had to play a specific black man, a suit who always talked like this. Yes. And Godfrey Cambridge went to med school before he was an actor, a very smart guy. He was 3 years in.
Wow.
So smart guy. And like I said, teamed up with sorry, let me do something real quick. Just cut this out. Just cut out me searching. Him, Maya Angelou, and actor Hugh Hurd were one of the first people to organize a benefit for Martin Luther King, raised $9,000 at that time's money. It was in the early 50s.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Or not early 50s. It was in the 50s. Late 50s, I think. Sorry. Let me look at that again. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it was in the late 50s. So, yeah. So, very... This film is important. It's a real piece of art. As a filmmaker, it's interesting. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm shout out to Melvin Van Peebles for really taking on this work and then doing the extra work to be sure that it was taking care of its people, of the message that it was putting out into the world. And then the work that he continued to do from there on forward, because he's very much just there's no spaces, I will make them. If this is getting done, I'm going to get it done. Oh, also, they slashed his budget in half and gave him 20 days to make this movie.
What?
And
That's wild.
And he said, watch me do it in 3 days shorter. And so
what?
I'm just shout out to this man for real, because he
oh my
put
God.
in the work.
I love this movie. This might be this might be going in the truly not just being hyperbolic. This might be going in my favorites of all time. Even just for that stuff alone, film history is important to me, and knowing that this nigga was rebellious the entire time and pulled through and made something good.
Incredible. Inspiring. I think that's also my favorite takeaway, is just man, they really try to do you dirty at every corner, and you came out swinging. And like, this was a really good film.
It was.
But also to know everybody had to be on their P's and Q's for it to come out this good too. So shout out to the whole team.
Shout out.
All right.
But yeah, that's this episode. Thanks for listening to the Fade to Black podcast. We're here every Fade to Black Friday is what I'm calling them now.
Fade to Black Friday.
Yeah, so tune in for the next one. Because I don't remember what episode we're on. This is episode 19. So tune in for episode 20.
Yes, David episode.
Well, which one we doing? Oh God, I should know. Jesus. Which one was the next one?
It's the. Should I say it?
Yes.
Is it Atlanta?
It's the Chameleon Man.
Chameleon Street.
Oh,
Chameleon
fuck yes.
Street, yes.
Oh, boy, if you like this one.
Yes, so rate, like it, share it, subscribe, comment, tell your homies. Tell your homies to tell a homie. Listen to this podcast.
Hell
And
yeah.
stay safe out there.
Stay safe.
Natural disasters are real.
Oh, yeah, we should mention, before we were recording, there was an earthquake that we all, Imani didn't feel because she in Georgia.
I'm in Georgia.
We're up here in Philly, and a whole ass earthquake happened, and we were like, I thought somebody was like doing jumping jacks in my house. I was about to be like, bro, can you stop? And then Sonny goes, what was that?
I definitely felt the spirit bump me, but it turns out it was just the floor moving.
The looks of concern. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so,
didn't
stay
shake
safe.
in Stay safe.
Have better reactions. And, check on your loved ones.
Calling
Peace
up.
out.
And remember, stay black. And just like Melvin Van Peebles said in the title cards, you are a Negro.
He said it.
I'm a nigga.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.